Welcome to the Shift Your Reality podcast. I'm Kubra, a spiritual artist, intuitive astrologer, and coach. I channel paintings that help you hold space for your emotions, navigate them, and reconnect with your self-worth. Join me on this journey to self-actualization and discover the power within. Welcome to the Shift Your Reality podcast. I am so excited to meet you today because it has been something that I have been pushing away since so long, and it was a big issue. And after dealing that issue, I wanted to come back here safe and sound. So the journey started in, I think, 17th of August in 2021. And it went so well that the podcast reached to 126 territory and countries. So it was something really big for me. But at a point, I had some struggle. Long story short, I wanted to come back here today because I'm a Sun and Mercury Gemini person, so I love talking. I have another podcast that is about to hit the 100th episode, so I asked myself, why not this one? Because the more I share, the better I feel that it is my mission in life. So what is my mission in life? Okay, I'm an entrepreneur who struggled for so long by completing all those checklists, doing the energy healing work, astrology, Reiki, cosmo energy, and SWOT analysis, business development, mentors. Like, I worked several mentors and this and that, but nothing helped. Literally nothing. So yeah, I know we always say that, okay, completing checklists won't gonna help, but you should work on your inner energy. Yes, that's right, but don't do like I did before. So to be able to shorten your journey, I'm gonna share mine, and I'm gonna share my client's journey with you. And the thing is, after I overcome that situation, I created a step-by-step method that is going to help you tremendously to turn the tables for yourself. So if you are ready, this is a podcast series that is going to help you to move the needle and create a joyful and graceful experience. Well, shall we begin? Okay, so this series, it is called Soulful Rebirth Journey for Entrepreneurs. So this is your host, Kubra. I am a former scientist. Actually, I'm a chemist. So when I get initiated with chemistry, I started changing my belief system as well. And before that, I was against all kind of things that I can see and prove. But universe helped me out and gave me opportunities to understand that there can be things that I can't see, but they still work. So I should be curious enough, like a scientist should do, and do it for myself and see it if it works for me. So this is how I met with Reiki, Kundalini Yoga, and astrology, and this and that. But I think the milestone of my journey was, first one, having that fibromyalgia episode that I thought I was paralyzed. And the second one was I was gaslighted. So both are about a lack of self-worth, my dear friends. So if you had any of those, you can relate with it. And let's get back to the subject and talk about what that entrepreneurship journey means. And if we already do the energy work, the feminine energy and masculine energy, and balancing it and fulfilling the checklists and all the opportunities, what else can we do? Well, let's start from here. So you are someone who is in the middle of her or his entrepreneurial journey and kind of locked in a loop of procrastination, fear of visibility, feeling stuck, not cultivating enough income, and many other things. You know, as entrepreneur, we have a lot of stuff like imposter syndrome to feeling not enough and many other things. So this is the common entrepreneurial struggles, right? We all went through it. And the important thing is, I highly recommend you to remember that no matter what is going on, so one day you can feel at the top, one day you can feel at the bottom. They all are normal, because entrepreneurship actually is a journey of soul. It is not something you do for a living. Well, if you do it for a living like myself, that's great. That's actually a blessing, to be honest, because you have everything in your hands to make this journey more beautiful, right? And if you're going through all those phases like struggles and feeling stuck, limited in the frames that you or the universe or the society put you into, you should remember that there can be things that you already become aware of, or there can be things you don't see yet. But no matter what is going on, it is not because you are not supported. It is not because you are not loved. It is not because you are not on the right path. I should remind you of that. All those things that are happening in your life right now is simply because you have a great ability to channel. So yes, either you're a psychic or not, you channel information. And this is what creates those emotional patterns or money blockages in your life, simply. We're going to come back to that subject, but what I want to remind you is there is this word I adore, actually, j'adore. It is called alignment. And in this episode, we're going to a little bit be talking about timeline shifting, alignment, and releasing old patterns in order to reach success, all right? So, Soulful Rebirth Journey for Entrepreneurs is a technique that's actually inspired by the thing called Unison. Unison is where I channel artwork to help you release your emotions without remembering the memory. Well, when you don't remember the memory but still be able to release that emotion, it gives you a huge opportunity to fasten your healing process. But let's don't make it complicated and more complex and start from the beginning. All right, my dear. So, as an entrepreneur, it is written in the stars that you meant to become an entrepreneur on the earth plane in this lifetime. And when it happens, and when you know that it is in your destiny, it is comforting, isn't it? Yes, I know. Well, so you are doing the right thing, but why you are not supported by the universe? Or at least you feel that way. Well, simply, there are many ways that you can walk through towards the same state, right? So think about Instagram. I must tell you, I joined plenty of Instagram trainings and the paid version in detail, everything. So I can even teach that, you know? But if you see my Instagram account, I don't apply all those techniques to boost algorithm, to engage with audience for this or that. Because I know if I follow that script, it is not a match with my birth chart. So I will burn myself out. And this is not my intention when I try to reach people through Instagram, right? So it's important to understand that a birth chart is our user manual. Yes, you meant to walk through the same target, the same city, the same purpose. But do you really think it is the way, it is the path you should follow? So yes, you might be an entrepreneur, you might be, let's get specific, you might be an astrologer, a human design expert, a coach, a manifestation coach, whatever. If you don't manifest things in a way that aligns with your nature, with your essence, it will drain out your energy, and at a point you will regret what you do, right? So this is the one thing. You're an entrepreneur. It's written in the stars. This is what you meant to be in this lifetime. And now we need to ease your journey. But first, we should understand some concepts. So what I would like to share with you is, so either you are a psychic or not, we all channel emotions from parallel timelines. So everything you can imagine about yourself actually already coexists in another timeline. And when you tune into a lower frequency timeline compared to your current one, you immediately start feeling down without any practical reason in this earth plane. Why you do it is simple, the oneness concept or wholeness concept. So unison, the technique that I call during all this journey, it is simply says that, yes, that's great, all the philosophies mention we should become one, we should stop judging others, this and that. That's great if you're a saint. But if you're not, I'm not, as we're not saints, we can't do that. Before we go there, before stop judging others, we should stop judging ourselves. So, how does that sound? I know, it's hard. So, how many of you don't judge yourself? When was the last time you felt shame? Because shame is an emotion that you judge yourself from a different person's perspective. So you replace yourself with that other person. You kind of judge yourself and then you come back and feel shame. Oh, isn't it crazy? Yeah. So, as now we know that, we want to become one with ourselves from different timelines. How can we do that? Well, simply your current version is trying to do that unconsciously because it knows the ultimate mission. So it starts channeling the emotion. So the other version can come and merge those realities, and we can become one. We can feel we are one. But when we do that unconsciously, we create emotional patterns. We feel like a victim. And that is really not that nice. And when we do that consciously, when we do the channeling consciously, we simply become artists, visionaries, or psychics. Well, I myself stayed at the artist part, and I channel art. I channel emotions through art. And this is what I use during my coaching practices. So when my clients come to a class, either it's one-on-one or a group class, they simply look into the same painting and see and feel the same emotions. And without being in need to remember any memories, they release those emotions and uplift their frequency. That's awesome. So we know why we create those emotional patterns and ask ourselves, why is it always happening to me, to not anyone else? You know, we all have those kind of experiences. Just us have that experience, and then not other people. We don't want them to have, but just it is odd, isn't it? Well, it is because you keep connecting with that lower frequency timeline, channel information because you have higher frequency than it has. But when you channel it and restore here, you start feeling like a victim. And instead of transmuting and merging the realities, you get lost in this reality. So that's good. Now you know it is not because you're a victim or the universe doesn't like you, God doesn't like you, or people doesn't like you. It is because you are your own hero. Yes, you're your own hero. And, well, we can do the same thing in the reverse engineering way as well. What does that mean? So, what is your calling in life? Who you want to become? Well, what I mean when I say who you want to become, you are already you. You want change. But when you release all those obstacles and blockages, you're going to become your natural self, the most natural self, your default settings, kind of. So that's great when you come to your natural state, who you are, what kind of persona that version of you has. So if you start thinking, you kind of start connecting with those other realities. And if you can't dream yourself one, there is one emotion that can help you with that. So who was she the last time you get jealous and felt like, oh, come on, look at her. I can't believe she does that. She's not even better than I. So what's going on? Whoa. Don't go that far, because it is amazing that person having that awesome experience. But this is something you should get inspiration from. Because jealousy means you recognize that reality, that experience from somewhere, from another timeline. So as you know that experience and don't have it, you start feeling like, oh, I should have that experience. You can become pure bad and, stay jealous forever. That's fine. It's your choice. But if you're listening to me here today, I'm sure you're going to choose the second one. And you're going to use that jealousy as a compass, as a golden compass. And you're going to start channeling that reality which has a resemblance with this person you get jealous on. Okay? So, actually, what we call as quantum jump is simply seeing that next reality we should experience, tune into that one, increase our frequency equal to that reality that is our calling, and creating the merge. This is what we call actually quantum jump. which is great because when you channel consciously from higher frequency dimension or reality, then you start kind of balancing the frequency by increasing yours into that one. And you start experiencing that reality. So this is the reality shift that we are talking about. And as entrepreneur, if you are up to that perfect jump, I have those 8 stages of entrepreneurship that is gonna change your life forever. Okay, I'm not gonna sing, I promise. So those 8 stages, I'm gonna share with you only the names, and then we're gonna dive deep into each one of that stages in the next episodes. And soon I'm gonna release a freebie that is gonna help you a lot about doing related practices with those 8 stages of entrepreneurship for success. So the first stage is aligned entrepreneur. So in the aligned entrepreneur, what we try to understand or do is finding the true alignment. Remember what I mentioned about Instagram management. So everything about entrepreneurship is kind of similar. Yes, there are several pathways that you can walk, but you should find the most aligned one. And the second one is embodied entrepreneur. So mind, body, spirit integration. Without that integration, you can't actually go further. Because yes, you should help others by sharing your vision, by sharing your authentic message. But if you don't share it with yourself first, then it won't help. Actually, this is why I waited for so long to share that method with you, because I tried it for myself, it worked perfectly. I tried it for my clients, it worked perfectly. I created group programs, it worked perfectly for everyone. So now that I'm here with all those proofs, this is gonna change your life. So the next stage is regulated entrepreneur. Oh my, as a chemist, what I can share with you is, if you don't learn how to hack your body chemistry, if you don't understand neuroscience, neuroplasticity, you can't go further. Again. Well, yes, your body chemistry is everything. You need to understand what it tells to you, how you should understand and solve those things from the chemical level. Because, for example, for me, the podcast journey was, in the beginning, it was all good because it's my natural place talking. But then something happened. Working with wrong mentor could affect you a lot. So this is why even while you're choosing your mentor, you should go very intuitively and find this person, feel the alignment. And if you feel this thing that you're judged or you are not supported as the way you need, you should really know when to stop working with someone. So this was one of the struggles that I had, and I didn't stop on the right time. And finally, I stopped because, English is not my mother tongue. And I kind of even judged myself for that. But now I feel super comfortable and I'm totally fine because I know that it is not my words. It is my energy sharing the message with you. By the way, there is this other thing. Working with that person and overcoming that obstacle, yes, it took time, but it was also necessary. It was where I felt unworthy, so I didn't see it by myself. Someone had to show me. So, anyway, abundant entrepreneur is our next stage. Oops. Shifting from scarcity to abundance, really? Well, abundance has plenty of meanings. Abundance of health, wealth, prosperity, relationships, and connection, and everything. So we really need to define what abundance means to us, not everyone else. So in the 5th stage, we talk about magnetic entrepreneur. So enhancing natural attraction. Well, I'm someone who turned into an alchemist while I was a chemist. So I know what I'm talking. When you become a magnetic person, when you play with your own alchemy, actually, you know that people in the past were not trying to turn metals into gold, right? It was our aura they were talking about. So if you do that today, you start attracting naturally, magnetizing all those things that you want, your soul's want, not your ego, of course. So here, we also learn how to distinguish what our ego wants, what our soul's calling is. So the next stage is intuitive entrepreneur. So it is important to trust your inner guidance all the time. Most of us have this thing, okay, it is my bias that doesn't like this person or that wants to stop it, not to be arrogant or this or that. No. Most of the time, if we don't have that inner guidance connection properly, we see things but don't trust our guidance. So it is like we are connecting with our nature, with our core identity, and have a flowing conversation all day long, 365 days. Cool, isn't it? And the next stage is creative entrepreneur, unlocking your creative genius. Yes, you can just be some practitioner, whatever, but you can still get creative with your practices. And without activating that part, it is really hard to move forward and step into a higher manifestation level. If we're talking about creating a team, having a 6-figure business or whatever it is for you, it doesn't have to be the same for everyone, though. So it's important to know what it is for you to become a sovereign entrepreneur. So embodying your highest timeline. Sovereign entrepreneur does this intuitively, easily. And when you master all those 8 steps, your entrepreneurship journey turns into something else. And if you have those 3 femininity wounds, witch wound, bitch wound, and whore wound, you know what they create in our lives, right? If you don't want to become visible, if you can't have this sisterhood bonds with other ladies, or if you're not connected to your sensuality, it is because of those wounds. And all those 8 stages actually help you go through all those wounds and more until you feel comfortable to step into the reality that you deserve. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, entrepreneurship is a soulful rebirth journey. And as a soulful transformative journey, you need to embrace it from a perspective that is going to create an ease and joy in your life. So aligning with your authentic self to experience effortless success is possible. And when you master all those stages, what you see is using the soulful rebirth journey to break free from old patterns and access your most powerful timeline. Well, thank you for listening to me today. And in the next episodes, what we will gonna focus on is each of those stages, and we are gonna use some practical tools, exercises, and insights that I'm going to share with you gladly. And so excited to learn about your journey. Please share your experience with me through the Instagram, or you can email me anytime. And please remember to rate and like this podcast. So, dear listeners, I want to invite you to the next episode where we're going to tap into the aligned entrepreneur. And I know that you are meant for more. You deserve more, because you are worthy of it, your dream. Your soul never mistaken, right? Much love and light.